We have a major update on the De'Von Achane trade rumors from ESPN's Adam Schefter. He just put out that the Dolphins are not willing to trade De'Von Achane, and they in fact want to hold on to him for the long haul. They plan on holding on to De'Von Achane in the 2026 offseason. To that, I say, everyone has a price. Everyone has a price that eventually a team could meet that would force them to make a trade. I believe that the Miami Dolphins are just posturing here. They know that they are in a position of strength, and they can say, well, we'll hold on to him unless you give us a better trade offer. We'll dive into what my trade offer was yesterday, and clearly the price of the brick has gone up. So if the Seahawks want to go in and make a trade for De'Von Achane, we got to up our price, and we'll discuss what that looks like on today's video. I'm Will Ortner. This is Seahawks Today. Hit that sub button if you love the Seattle Seahawks. We're still trying to fend off our Knicks Now channel. We just passed them a week ago. They're trying to catch up as the NBA season ramps up. What are you going to get if you subscribe to our channel? You're going to get great coverage on the Seattle Seahawks. So Adam Schefter put out his major update on De'Von Achane, and this is pretty clear to me that you can go down two paths with the Seahawks here. Or I guess you could say two paths with De'Von Achane. You either take what Adam Schefter is saying at face value and you say, hey, De'Von Achane, they clearly want to hold on to him. They're going to work out a new deal for him as he's in the last year of his contract, and he is off the table. Or you can go down the path that I'm going down, which I believe is the true path. And when I talk to our Dolphins Today host here at Chat Sports, Rolly, he believes the same thing that I believe. De'Von Achane is not off the table. And there is still a trade opportunity out there for him. Now, if you watch the show religiously, one, thank you, I love you, and I appreciate you, or you follow me at Will Ortner on Twitter, you saw this trade idea that we put out the other day. It was Seattle getting De'Von Achane and the Dolphins getting a second-round pick in this year's draft and a seventh-round pick in next year's draft. No, I thought that this was a fair trade at the time, very similar to the trade graphic that FanDuel put out not too long ago, and I believe that this is actually more about what Achane is worth. The problem is now there is a feeding frenzy for Achane because a lot of teams want a top-tier running back in the National Football League, and he is that type of player in my personal opinion. When we look at his stats from this season, it's clear to me De'Von Achane is a number one running back. Over 1,300 yards, he was the main back while still having a fantastic average. Very low fumbles, in fact, only one while having multiple touchdowns. I believe that he is someone that could instantly jump into a multitude of offenses, but specifically the Seattle Seahawks offense. And I believe that there is an opportunity for the Seahawks to get a deal out there to get him. What is that deal? We'll discuss in a moment. We're going to get back to today's video, but first I want to let you know about my friends over at Cheers. At 28 years old, I'm starting to get over the hill, and even one or two drinks of alcohol responsibly over an evening can really ruin me the next day. That's why I've started to get really obsessed with Cheers. Cheers restores a dual action after alcohol aid. Its ingredients support both your brain and your liver after consuming alcohol. Cheers was originally invented by a student at Princeton based on research into a novel compound called DHM. DHM demonstrated powerful alcohol-related properties in the brain and liver. So Cheers was designed for how alcohol actually affects your body, not just dehydration. Cheers has appeared on Shark Tank, and today Cheers is sold in over 30,000 stores, including Walgreens, CVS, 7-Eleven, and Circle K. They've sold over 50 million doses, 7,500 4- and 5-star reviews on Amazon. This isn't for college binge drinking. If you have 12 tequila shots, you're probably still going to feel rough. But if you're a normal adult responsibly having 2, 3, or 4 drinks, you'll feel significantly better with Cheers. Same night out, way better morning with Cheers. For a limited time, our listeners are getting 20% off their entire order by using chat at cheershealth.com. Just head to cheershealth.com and use code CHAT for 20% off. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support Seahawks Today and tell them our show sent you. It's clear to me why the Seattle Seahawks and a multitude of other teams in the National Football League would want De'Von Achane. We just went through the stats. But in my personal opinion, obviously, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the deal that I put out there wouldn't get the deal done anymore. Whether it's the Seahawks or any other team, it seems very clear to me, and in fact, after talking to Roley, it seems very clear to him as well, Dolphins want more than likely a little bit more capital. So what type of deal does that look like? Is that the Seahawks giving up more picks in the 2027 NFL draft, which more teams care about, and the Seahawks have the capital to do that? Or does it involve the Seattle Seahawks getting a little bit crazy and actually offering a first-round pick for De'Von Achane? Is it even worth it? Well, let's dive into his career. Because we've seen a lot of people in the National Football League have a successful season or two. People drastically overpay, and then they go back to kind of what they were. When I look at De'Von Achane, I think that he gets better every single year because, one, he gets more opportunities and more carries, but more importantly, he becomes a more savvy NFL veteran. He's also the type of player that any team in the National Football League could want and could need. One, he has incredible vision. He finds open holes, and I don't think that Miami Dolphins team was the best offensive line product in the National Football League. I think De'Von Achane made a lot of lemonade out of some pretty sour lemons this season, especially when you factor in the fact that, well, the Dolphins couldn't throw the football. You jump into Seattle needing an explosive running back along with a lot of teams in the National Football League. Well, that is something that De'Von Achane has. And in fact, he might be the most explosive running back in the National Football League. No matter what the injury situation is for Zach Charbonnet, whether he ends up being ahead of schedule and being ready by week 1 of the NFL season, or if he follows along the path that everyone kind of more expects of him to not be ready until October or even potentially November, Seattle needs an explosive running back. Because if Zach Charbonnet's RB1, well, he's a power back. And George Holani has great vision, and I do think the world of him, and I think John Schneider thinks the world of him. I don't know that he has the explosive get away from everyone touchdown speed that the Seahawks are looking for. Kenneth Walker had that for the most part. Obviously, some of the faster guys were going to be able to catch him. But when I look at the other running backs on the roster, Wilson, Emanuel, the guy that the Seahawks just took from the Green Bay Packers, he's more of a power back, so he fits more in line with Zach Charbonnet. In fact, he might be a slightly better power back than Charbonnet. And Kenny McIntosh, you're trusting that he keeps the exact same speed that he had previously before his knee injury, after his knee surgery. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't necessarily have that. I think a lot of Seahawks fans believe that he does and can and will have that explosive big play ability. But if the Seahawks were to add in De'Von Achane, he would instantly become your running back number 1, and he would instantly become the most explosive player in that backfield, and I think that's very clear. To me, the trade idea and the trade deal that gets the job done here is the Seahawks trading their first-round pick in the 2026 draft, and that would be what gets the job done for De'Von Achane. In my personal opinion, even though it is pick number 32, which the Dolphins would say, whoa, it's actually really more like a second-round pick, it's still a good enough deal to get this done, I believe, and that would lead to the Seahawks getting that explosive running back. The question to me, and the question that I am going to answer here in just a moment, should the Seahawks do it? Something that you should do, though, go grab your Seahawks Today gear that we have at our chatsports.com website. You can go grab your Seahawks Today t-shirt. Be like my guy Jerry B. Dude's an absolute stud. Looks great in those t-shirts. We've also got the Champions merch as well. If you're not done celebrating Super Bowl victories, make sure that you go and get that as well. I know it might be cold if you're in the PNW. It's not that cold out here in Dallas, but you can still go grab yourself a hoodie. You're a little more whimsical, you go grab that mascot as well. Of course, I'm over here repping the MOB. That's right, the Mob Mentality t-shirt. Make sure I pop it up there on the screen for you. All of our gear, super affordable, very comfy t-shirts. You are going to love them. We're going to have the link in the comment section and description of today's video. So we took all the hard work out for you. All you have to do, you click that link, takes you right where you need to go, and you can go grab yourself a t-shirt today. I think, like I said earlier, that the deal gets it done with that first round pick. It's clear to me that that's what the Miami Dolphins want. When you look at what this Dolphins team is doing, they are in the most aggressive rebuild I think that we have ever seen, which makes the Malik Willis signing a little bit weird, but that's its own thing. When you look at the draft capital right now that the Dolphins have, they have 2 picks in the first round, 1 pick in the second round, 4 picks in the third round, a pick in the fourth, a pick in the fifth, a pick in the seventh, and then, hey, you know what? You might as well add 1 more pick in the seventh. That pick has just been traded around from a whole bunch of different teams. So it's clear to all of us that the Dolphins are going to take as much capital as they possibly can. They are rebuilding the entire organization, new general manager, new head coach. Everything is new. Everything is different. And they would clearly, in my opinion, be okay with trading De'Von Achane away because there's no real reason for them to sign De'Von Achane because he doesn't necessarily fit with their timetable right now. So clearly that first-round pick, it gets them 3 first-round picks in the upcoming 2026 NFL Draft. Is it a deep draft? No, but the Miami Dolphins have 1,000 holes to fill right now. So just by having a ton of capital in the draft, they're going to get better by osmosis. You'd have to hope that they could hit at least 1 or 2 of those picks. So to me, this deal gets it done. The question is, would you make this trade? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. Is De'Von Achane worth pick number 32 in the 2026 NFL Draft? No. That's my own opinion. I don't think that the Seahawks should give up pick number 32. And the most important reason is going to be money. If the Seahawks were willing to let Kenneth Walker walk away from this team for $14 million, then I don't know that they're willing to pay De'Von Achane. Because right now, De'Von Achane's value, according to Spot Track, is at $12 million. Seattle, they didn't want to go, rumor is, above 10 for Kenneth Walker. Do you trade or let Kenneth Walker go to trade for De'Von Achane and then be willing to give him a ton of money next year when you already have a bunch of moves that you have to make with further extensions that we'll discuss later on Seahawks Today? I don't think that they do. I think that they believe that they have a really good running back in George Halani that is ready to take the next step. I think that they believe that Zach Charbonnet is going to come back better than ever. I think that they believe that Kenny McIntosh is going to come back better than ever. I think that they love the signing of Emanuel Wilson, and I think that the Seahawks are going to stay true with what they have in that running back room. That said, there's still an option out there if they really want it. The last thing that I want to talk about on today's show is how the NFL is absolutely disrespecting the Seattle Seahawks. This comes to us from the Wall Street Journal, Joe Flint. He said some small NFL TV news. First game of the regular season will be on Wednesday night on NBC instead of on Thursday because the Melbourne game has to be on Thursday. One, because both teams that are traveling over there, the 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams, that game, even though it's on Thursday here in the States, because of time zones, it would actually be on Friday in Melbourne. But more importantly, the NFL is not able to play on that second Friday. The reason that we've had Friday games in the past is because it was on the first Friday. The way the calendar works, it just doesn't set up for the NFL. So the Seattle Seahawks are then getting hosed, in my opinion, because instead of getting to play on a Thursday, which is already kind of lame, but you're getting to start the NFL season off with a bang, the Seahawks are now having to start on a Wednesday. It changes up the entire schedule that the Seahawks probably had going into it. I don't care about the mini bye. It's better to be on TV, in my personal opinion, on Thursday than it is on Wednesday. People are doing things. People aren't going to be able to get to the ballpark. But more importantly, there's some other issues that are going on right now in Seattle. The Seattle Mariners have a game on that Wednesday against the Texas Rangers, I believe, ironically enough, at home. And the Seattle Sounders, well, they have a home game as well. The problem with home games for the Sounders is guess where that game's at? That's right, Lumen Field. When I look at this is going to be an issue because there's already going to be a packed house with the Mariners and Seahawks if that was what was going to be the deal anyways. Now you're telling me that there'd have to be some logistical movement between the Sounders and the Seahawks. I do think the MLS would move for the National Football League, so getting the home field wouldn't be a problem necessarily. But at the end of the day, I don't think this would happen to any other NFL team. I think that the NFL is disrespecting the Seahawks. In fact, I kind of think they're disrespecting the entire National Football League by trying to force these international games on us, and it does end up jacking up and changing the different schedules that teams want in the National Football League. It's not fair to a team to ask them to play on a Wednesday. Now, I will admit that playing on a Wednesday at the beginning of the year is the best case scenario for a team to play on a Wednesday, but I don't think that this is going to lead to the best venue or the best amount of attendance for Seahawks fans, because it's easier to get to a game on a Thursday. Maybe you take Friday off, or you take the morning off on Friday. Now you're trying to talk about, well, do you take Thursday off? Are there going to be students that are going to be able to go to the game? I just don't think it sets up well for the Seahawks. And I think that it's lame. I think any other team in the National Football League would get their chance to start on a Thursday at home. I understand that I'm kind of crying here and bitching and moaning about something that at the end of the day is a little bit trivial, but I think it's incredibly lame of the National Football League to take the Seahawks and instead of giving them what every other team has gotten, they give them a slightly worse version of that. And that's just the National Football League and really the East Coast media and the East Coast elites disrespecting the PNW like they always do. There's a reason why we have to fight through that East Coast bias, and I hate it. I believe that the NFL is disrespecting the Seattle Seahawks. Do you agree with me or do you disagree? Maybe I'm a little bit too angry and you say, Will, slow your roll, calm down a little bit. I disagree with what you're saying. And that's fine. Just make sure you do it in our comment section. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you love the content that we've got going on here. We always really appreciate it. And if you hadn't hit that subscribe button yet, I don't know what you are doing. We've got the NFL draft coming up very quickly. You don't want to miss out on any of our coverage. We've got mock drafts that I'm making. We've got mock drafts that producer Searle is making. We've got mock drafts that other NFL experts are making. You don't want to miss out on any of that content, as well as the Seahawks build up towards trying to run it back and be back-to-back Super Bowl champions for the first time in franchise history. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. I can't wait to see you next time.